Welcome in everybody to the TK Pod. My name is Tyler Kluver. I was once a Division I football player. I am now a podcaster, fitness coach, and CrossFit athlete, doing all of that as a husband and father of two. This show is an audio journal, a spot for me to vent or ramble about thoughts I have relating to fitness and health, my personal competitive aspirations, business, entrepreneurship, and more. I hope that each show can provide one small bit of value for you, the listener. Regardless, I'm glad you're here. Let's have a day. Let's go. What's up, everybody? We're back with another TK Pod, and this is December 10th. As you listen to this, December 3rd, there just wasn't a podcast, and I didn't realize that until December 6th. I completely dropped the ball, forgot. I had a couple things I was doing last Wednesday, but it wasn't like it was super. Like we were past Thanksgiving. We were back into the normal flow of work. I was sitting here alone, like I normally am in my office. I've even restructured. We'll talk about this in a second. I've restructured given some structure to my training finally as we get closer to the open season here, CrossFit wise, which allows me to on Wednesdays actually I'm training less. I only do one session. I had all the time in the world to do a podcast last Wednesday, and I even remember sitting there thinking, "Man, it feels like I should be doing something else today." Like I feel lazy. Totally forgot that I do the TK Pod on Wednesdays. Just forgot about it. So sorry to the loyal listeners of this fine show. The TK Pod returns. Fortunately, there's a ton of high stakes. Nobody probably noticed, and here we are back to it. Like I said, we are nearing the middle of December. 2025 is almost over. Been a lot of great things that happened this year. A lot of momentum, a lot of progress. Had a child. Maybe we'll do a recap here in the coming weeks. I'll put together a little 2025 Tyler Kluver recap for you. Your Tyler Kluver Wrapped, like a Spotify Wrapped. And it's always a time of reflection. But today we are going to catch everyone up on maybe just the last couple weeks of my life, since again we didn't do an episode. I don't know if it's going to be long or short. Probably somewhere in between. I will say this, starting off with a fit tip of the day for somebody to actually take something away from this podcast. I used to, when I immediately got into this world, I say this world meaning the health and fitness world, exercise, nutrition, diet, coaching world, about 6 years ago. Of course, in the initiative to try and build a client base and have like value and all this stuff, like I was all in on everything. And so when this time of year came around, I had, I even have a couple podcasts, if you roll back to 2020, 2021, maybe even later than that, where Thanksgiving or Christmas comes around and I have these like how to maneuver the holidays with your diet, with your training. And there's a lot of good information in those if you want them. I think as, we've gotten a couple years removed from that, I continue to put another year on top of my life every holiday season with personally navigating, a bunch of Thanksgiving meals, and then 1 month later, a bunch of Christmases that you go to, and you're out of routine, you're traveling, all of these things that throw a bunch of wrenches, not just a wrench, but several wrenches into your fitness goals or progress or regular schedule of training and meals. I think the idea is just to kind of accept that it happens and deal with it and enjoy it. That's my fit tip of the day is enjoy the holidays. Don't try because it ultimately doesn't matter if you go over for a day or 2, or hell, in my case, which is probably on the like I'm starting to be an outlier for most people. Like I have 3 or 4 Thanksgivings that we go to over the course of a week. We go to both sides of her family, we go to both sides of my family, and that means a bunch of big meals, a bunch of opportunity to overindulge and eat a shitload of food. And the reality is like, especially if on the training side, on the exercise side, which I think is a little bit more manageable. And in fact, it's because you have time off, you might even have a few extra hours to go hit the gym, or you might be at home a little bit more so you can go down to the basement or the garage and get something in. If you're moving, you're exercising, you go for a walk, whatever it may be, you can mitigate, you can kind of balance the excess intake with a little more with a little more output, and you can feel good about yourself. It'll make you feel better. You can kind of avoid the food coma that way anyways. Fast for breakfast or lunch. If you know you're having a big dinner, enjoy the big dinner, eat the dessert, drink the drinks, and just be happy and not stressed around the experience of the holidays. And to be honest, the health effect of that will probably equal itself out of just the direct calorimetry of what your body's going to go through metabolically. Don't worry about, oh, I need to eat my protein first and I need to stay under 1700 calories today. It doesn't matter. It's one or a couple days, and one or a couple days, just like on the good side of things, isn't going to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger or the fittest on earth or the most shredded person on the block. One or a couple days is not going to, as long as you don't let it, it's not going to completely derail your goals either. You're not going to all of a sudden be fat or all of a sudden be out of shape. And I think mentally that's maybe a more mature place to be. And the happiness that you can get out of not stressing and eating good food with family and friends is probably more beneficial. So that's my advice. I know Thanksgiving's already passed, but you're going to get this information about 2 weeks. Well, we're only 2 weeks away from Christmas, and I fucking love Christmas. Um, so just take that into the holiday season. New Year's, obviously a big party, get together time as well. Just enjoy it. And then, of course, we're going to hit this New Year wave where everyone's feeling new motivations. I'm going to do this year. These are my goals, yada, yada, yada. So there's going to be no lack of like direction, or at least perceived direction coming. You just have to manage that. But it's a stress thing, right? Yes, there's a physical stress of actually eating more calories and not moving as much exercise wise. The mental stress, sort of the operational stress of like trying to be perfect and not eat certain foods and exercise discipline, it, it's all a wash. So that's my holiday, navigating the holidays fitness and nutrition wise. Some of my favorite workouts happen around the holidays because you have more fuel. You can feel the food in you. You're like, "Oh my god, I'm so carb loaded right now. I have all the energy." Some of my biggest lifts I think have always happened around the holidays. 'Cause there's so much you're just riding on carbohydrates. And you're free from other stuff. You don't have work obligations. You can lift and then go hang out with family and know that the next day you've got another day off and all this different stuff. So that's where we're at. I, we, my family and I, wife, 2 children, went and did a Polar Express experience. For those in Iowa, it's in Boone, Iowa, this past weekend. Both kids threw up in a matter of 2 hours. Car sickness. The baby is just a very spitty baby, so it was just like 2 hours of driving an hour away from home in the cold, to cleaning up vomit, and yeah. Train ride was cool, but that was fun. That was one of those parenting weekend things where you're like, "Should we have maybe just stayed home?" And I got to experience one of those this weekend, but and the kids will never remember it, at least this one, which is great as well. Um, that was That was the most fun, most recent family experience for me. Woke up this morning very randomly. Wife's alarm went off about 5:20 in the morning, and I'm laying there, and for some reason in my mind, just a thought that just popped in was like, "I should sign up for jujitsu." What? Where did that come from? I all of a sudden had this, like, fleeting motivation that I wanted to sign up for a jujitsu gym and start learning self-defense. I I don't know. Drake, co-host of the podcast behind me here on the walk-ons, or at least for a while he was. He's obviously massive into jujitsu and like that's his life. Kevin, the other host. So basically both my buddies. Kevin was into it for about a year before he got hurt and hasn't gone back to it since, but really enjoyed it. And I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden I was like, bang, bang. I was on my phone looking up jujitsu gyms in the area. I do think it would be fun. I think it would be fun. I have the ability to implement stuff like that if the classes are right into my life because I work from home and work on my own schedule. So it's not like this big hassle for me to fit it into my days. And I think more than anything, it would be a way for me to, and again, I'm not going to start getting like, I'm not going to be some martial artist, right? But I, as this sounds so 1950s fucking like almost like over traditional kind of thing, but like as the man of the family, right? I'm 31 years old. I own a house. I have a residence that a property that I need to take care of, a residence that me and my family live in. There is some sense of like you're the man of the house. You need to be able to. You gotta be able to defend the homestead. And I'm not a gun guy, although I've very very lightly considered like, "Hey, should I have a gun just in case somebody breaks," like, all these things that you think about as you get older and you're like, "I have children, I have a wife, bad things happen in the world. Should I equip myself with the right tools, skills necessary to combat those situations?" Right? Um and you see all these things online which are seem way more prevalent than they actually are in real life when you because that's what social media feeds you. But you see people get their homes broken into or an altercation breaks out in the middle of, public and like people don't know how to defend themselves. People get themselves in a spot where like they're fucked, like they're screwed. Um I've always had that thought of like if someone tries to break into our house in the middle of the night, how does that go down? I have a pocket knife that sits on my dresser that would have access to before engaging with anyone probably. But it ain't like I'm some master fucking with the blade. I'm not I ain't Jackie Chan, right? Especially if they have a gun, you know. I don't have a baseball bat. Like our kids aren't old enough to where we've gotten them a bat yet. And even if they were, it'd probably be like in the car or in the garage. Should I keep one of those under the bed? Should I just do the thing and get a gun? Well, now you're opening up the can of worms of because personal belief wise, nothing's stopping me from owning a firearm. I don't. It's not like I don't believe in them. I think you should be able to defend yourself. I'd kill someone, no problem. If I had the means to kill somebody who was trying to break in or hurt me or my family, I'll shoot him in the fucking head. Problem is, I don't have a gun. So should I get one? If I get one, now I have to go through not only is that expensive, another cost, but now I have to go through the process of I need to take probably a gun safety course. I've shot guns a couple times with buddies, but like I'd like to probably brush up on that a little bit. I need to get a case. Where do I keep it? How do I have access to it in the right time in the middle of the night or whatever if someone were to break in? How do I manage that access with also having two young children who know how to get into things? You're doing it's all this shit, right? And so, and in between to that, I say all of this fun conversation. I say all of this as a maybe jujitsu was a bridge to some answer to this question or some solution to this potential, very, very small potential problem. And that is if someone breaks in, sure, if they have weapons, that's going to make it tough. But if I at least know how to defend myself and physically engage them, and with my baseline fitness that we'll talk about here in a second, my baseline fitness and strength and just capability as a 31-year-old guy, if I learn some technique, some skill, I would probably be able to handle any intruder pretty much. Um, Maybe that's a way that I can bridge that gap where I don't have to buy a weapon or something. So I don't know if that was the motivation or not. It's not like we've had problems with someone trying to break in. Like we live in a good neighborhood. I don't know why they'd choose our house, yada, yada, yada. But that randomly came across my mind. So who knows? Maybe I get into some jujitsu in 2026. Maybe we'll forecast 2026. What does that look like for me? Maybe some jujitsu is in the cards. I don't know. Business wise, as a recent update, pretty excited to sort of start. I talked about, we started a landscaping. Not, it's very much so not a landscaping company right now. We call it Kluver Lawn and Landscape, just as a blanket term, blanket name. It's more lawn right now. It's just like we'll mow your lawn, we'll clean it up, we'll edge it, all that stuff. Um, but we started about 40% of the way into the lawn and care season this year, really in like basically June is when we started. And that season starts in arguably late March, definitely in April. So we missed April, May, and really started with just a couple lawn mowing clients in June. And Zach, my brother, is the main, that's 98% him right now. Got a good riding lawnmower, more than your home unit, or what was probably considered a substantial single residence unit, something that could be used for light commercial use like we planned on. Got a trailer using my dad's truck, all this stuff, trimmer, blower, all these things, a push mower, just your basic shit. And we started a lawn mowing company, and that went well in year one, or year point 5, because upcoming 2026 will really be our first full year in business. And we finished with very, very light expectations and goal setting in that first half year. We finished ahead of where we wanted to be. So, I'm excited to sit down with those two, my two brothers, who are the three of us are the ones kind of going about that venture. Sit down, do some goal setting, how we want to approach a full season, marketing, getting new clients, what all we want to offer in year two, what we're capable of, and kind of forecasting out for the next year, 2, 3, 5 years, what that looks like on a more serious level. So that's fun as the third business that I sort of have a hand in. And then same wise for the wash up walk-ons, the main thing behind me. We had an exciting year in 2025, a year of growth as far as, we're in year 8 with the walk-ons. It's my longest standing sort of entrepreneurial self-owned business. Um, and so to grow and see good growth in year 8 is positive, especially after we had plateaued there for a while. Obviously advertisement sponsorships, we're still every single day trying to make new relationships and figure out new ways to work with brands and businesses that want to use our platform and that can pay us so that we have income to keep doing the thing. Um, and in a way, and there's probably several levels of which I could actually go all in, but we're taking a significant step. I'm taking a significant step. We'll say internet wise, content wise, social media wise, with the business of Wash Up Walk-Ons in 2026. That's my one main goal right now, is that I have really, really slacked on the organic reach and organic marketing of our podcast, getting it in front of people's eyes, which is the way you do it in the modern day is you post all over social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, and then of course on YouTube. And other than just straight up posting the hour-long episodes, just the one big file, we really haven't done a whole lot of posting. Our brand account doesn't do a ton of posting. We don't post clips really. Um, and I've known for a while that because I've had every hat in the business, I've known for a while that I've been just majorly slacking in that area. And that if I really want to grow, well, maybe it's an idea to actually put some time and effort into social media clips and content. And so we are ramping that up. I would say it'll probably be 5x, maybe closer to 10x. I mean, the analytics a year from now will tell us truly how much more we did. But our analytics on social will look entirely different 365 days from right now for the Washup Walk-Ons Iowa football stuff because um yeah, we're going to be doing a shitload of posting and trying to just organically grow our content and our channels with viral videos and clips from the podcast. And we just need to, that's our one goal. That's what my one goal. So I'm diving into AI and some AI clipping tools and creating content myself and content strategy, when, where, how to post, formatting, all this different stuff is sort of what I'm diving into right now to maximize and optimize our content strategy for Washed Up Walk-Ons. A bunch of fucking buzzwords that don't mean anything until you actually do it. There's just going to be a lot more clips basically coming out of our show, which is good. We also got access just a couple days ago to all 22 film of college football, which is really hard to get. Something we've been looking for several years. For those that don't know, all 22 film is essentially the end zone view, like the team copy of film. It's the way that the players on the team study opponents and themselves. It's a wide shot. You can see every player on the field. It's not the TV broadcast that follows the ball and zooms in and cuts and stuff like that. You see the entire play and you're able to see everybody. It's a really good way to. It's the only way to break down film and do stuff like that, and that gives us the ability to add an entire show to our lineup, which basically is like, hey, the walk on film room or whatever we're going to call it, where probably uh, Kevin is mostly breaking down things. He's more of the football mind than Grant or I, but I'll be able to do some special teams breakdowns. And it quite literally for the Patreon side of things, we're hoping that buffers the Patreon. Um, with 2 extra podcasts a week, one of them being that one, it's probably going to be it'll be the first thing that we've added in a while that significantly secures the statement of our Patreon giving out way more than it's worth. We want to over give. We want to give, value overload, make it seem like people are stealing from us so that nobody feels like them donating or subscribing their money to us on a monthly basis isn't worth it. And when we upload this show, which I hope we do, we'll probably release one episode a month for free. And then I'm hoping that we can do one episode a week on the Patreon. And then one of those episodes a month will go out to the public to kind of like tease them and bring them in. That's a massive add to our brand as well, and hopefully can increase revenue over time, basically. So that's what we're looking at business wise. Obviously, some other random stuff with sponsorships and merchandise and all the entire body of work that the Walk-Ons is and what that brand is. But those are the main things there. And then fitness wise, training is going really well. I'm sore as fuck right now. Probably should do a fast twitch versus slow twitch episode by itself. We just haven't done those single topic episodes in a long time. I am very much fast twitch athlete, and that means volume, especially with certain movements, can just absolutely destroy how sore I am. And I did 90 burpee box jump overs after doing 350 to 400 double unders on Tuesday, and my calves are fucking wrecked. I can't even walk. So training today should be fun. I've had a couple sessions recently. Uh, I would guess really I've been as there's been a day here or there every week, again, going back through the Thanksgiving time frame where I haven't been able to get a full week of training in. I'm 5 out of 7 or 6 out of 7. But I've really been making the most with intentionality and intensity of the days that I have been getting. And I've for the last probably 2 to 3 months, I've been as locked in as I have been in a year plus. Um, and so training's going really good aesthetically and kind of like, what the product is right now of my body and what I'm capable of fitness wise is it's pretty damn good. Um, I'm at or above, slightly above the level of which I was last year at this time, which is not something I was expecting right now with everything that's happened this year and sort of the amount of training we've done throughout 2025. But we're here, and I'm able to gauge that by doing some similar tests that I did last year around November, December. And again, we did the Wadapalooza qualifier a couple weeks ago. It looks like right now we're not going to make any noise in that. We'd have to have a lot of people not accept their invite for us to even be asked to come and do the RX stuff. But again, that was just to kind of gauge where we were at. We are now I set on here as we speak on December 12th. Um, I believe January 1st, so 3 weeks from today. The workouts will be announced, all of them at once. It's sort of an interesting way that they do it for the Monster Games qualifier. That's one that we did and qualified for in the RX Indy division this past season, but just didn't do it because we were on baby watch. Um, I'm going to be doing that qualifier again, trying to qualify. Doubtful that I qualify in the elite division, but we still have almost 2 months to train for that, and that's the goal. So we have a chance, I suppose. Last year, I qualified in 36th or 37th out of uh, out of that Indy RX individual leaderboard, um, and they took the top 30 to elite. One of which was my boy Jay. He made the elite for that. I would have been like the sixth qualifier in the RX division, and of the people who actually went and did that RX competition, uh, the top 5 at the actual Monster Games in person that last summer or this summer, all of them were on the leaderboard for the qualifier were beneath me. So I actually would have had a chance to win that thing. Um, which gives me a lot of motivation because it's a somewhat big, like well-known competition. I could qualify maybe in the bottom of the elite if I do really well and the workouts line up. If not, I'm pretty confident I can qualify in the upper half of the RX. And I've never done an RX like I've never done a CrossFit competition by myself, like an individual competition. So we'll probably I'm leaning towards dabbling with that and have a very, very tentative, soft yes on doing that competition in person if I do qualify this next summer, which would be down in Kansas City. So that's what we're training for right now. Again, that qualifier does not start until January 29th and goes through February 17th or something like that. So it's like a 2.5 week window to complete 5 or 6 workouts. Um, and I still have 50-ish days before that kicks off. So we have a lot of time between now and then. A lot of time, but not a lot of time. It's going to go fast. Uh, but we're in a really good spot right now, and I'm feeling really good about my training, feeling really good about, like, the amount of weaknesses I've been attacking, double unders, thrusters, pull-ups, bar muscle ups, ring muscle ups, all the stuff that I'm just not good at. Um, I'm fully back into doing 2 plus zone 2 sessions a week on top of everything else. I'm doing enough lifting and enough strength that I'm maintaining slash slightly gaining, but I'm not over emphasizing it to where I'm not doing the stuff that I should be doing, like cardio and going really, really hard. I feel really good. And I think 26 could be a fun year, not just for the Monster Games qualifier, right? Could be doing that, do the qualifier in February, see where we land, hopefully do that in the summer. But then the last Thursday of February, the open starts. And quarterfinals is back, and the season structure, which we will go over at some point, is like I would bet every penny of my current net worth on me making semifinals because of the way that they're doing it this year. Like 2,000 people are going to make semifinals this year, online semis. Um, and it's the top 2,000 out of quarterfinals. Normally, they can barely field a field of like 5,000 or 6,000 quarterfinal men. So you got to be like the top third of quarterfinals. We're gonna we'll be there for sure, barring injury or anything crazy. So we're gonna be able to do the open quarterfinals and in affiliate semifinals this year. That's exciting because I haven't been able to do that since I got hurt last year and wasn't able to do the semifinals. A lot of things happening, a lot of things on the horizon. Not actually a busy life, but in my head, things seem busy and there's a lot of energy and stuff going in different directions. It's fun. It's a great time of year, and I'm glad that you guys are able to come here and listen to me ramble for 20 to 30 minutes a week. Turned out it was a long episode. A lot of shit in there. Glad you came to listen. Gave you a little extra since I forgot last week. Sorry about that. We'll try not to forget in the future. We'll see you next time. Peace.